New number one of Avengers by Jed MacKay and CF Villa. Let's get into it. So we start here with Carol out in space, and she says all of the Avengers decides to be an Avenger for a certain reason. She brings up the fact that Tony has a past that haunts him, and because of that, it makes him want to impact the world in a great way every single day. Then she brings up Thor's reason, and it's because of the fact that Thor is an immortal god, and he has friends that are mortals, and that stirs up something within him. And Carol's reason for being an Avenger is Earth. She wants to protect it. And she says that they call themselves the Avengers as a warning. And that warning wasn't just for their enemies, but it was for themselves. Because if they have to avenge something, that means they lost it. And the Avengers can't afford to lose anything. So now Iron Man is talking to Captain Marvel, and she's on the way to where he is. And Tony asks her if she's going to say the Avengers phrase since she's the lead now. And of course she says it. Now we see the new Avengers team going to fight Terminus to take him down. Now it's 1 week before all this happened, and Carol is talking to Tony. And we see when Carol was chosen to be the lead of the Avengers. And Tony asks her if she wants to get back to policing the world. And she says no. And she says no because the Avengers aren't cops, and all that does is get them into civil wars. Case in point, there were already 2 of them. And instead of being cops, Carol says the Avengers are more like firefighters, heading into a blaze to save people, and saving lives is their whole mission statement. And now Tony says the Avengers are in a transitional phase after what happened at the God Quarry, and that happened during Avengers Assemble Omega, and he talks to Carol about building a new roster. And she chooses Tony as her first pick for the new team. And she chose Tony because she goes to him for Avengers business. And despite their differences, they stick together and they fight as Avengers. And now we see back in the battlefield, they're fighting Terminus. And he regrows after every time he's defeated. And Terminus is after energy and power. And power is Carol's second pick. And as we continue the recruitment of the new team, and now it's 6 days ago, and she's in Asgard, recruiting Thor. And she asks Thor, is he in on joining the team? And he says that he was never out. And she says that Thor used to be a lot of fun, but he has been through a lot lately, and that has changed him greatly. And she asks Thor, does their mortal lives stir something up within him since he's immortal? And he stays silent for a second, then he says yes. And she knew that would be the answer, and now she thinks about how she has to lead a god now. And now we see Thor and Carol fighting against Terminus. And Thor talking his trash. He said that Terminus ain't gonna be the only giant he defeats today. And now Carol tells Terminus to stand down or get put down. And I ain't gonna lie, after I read that, I'm like... And she says her and Thor are the nice ones, and that you do not want to bring out the most dangerous man alive. And now it's 6 days ago, and Carol finds T'Challa. And Carol brings up how T'Challa has sleeper cells that were assassins and kill switches that could take down members of the Avengers. And T'Challa didn't want to be found. And he asked Carol, did she want to find him because of his bad decisions in the past? And she says no because T'Challa is a good man of judgment. And she sums up that his past actions have been wrong and it cost him a lot. And T'Challa is no longer king of Wakanda, nor does he have the title of the Black Panther. And Carol says that he wanted to be found, just to be told, to come be an Avenger again. And through their differences in the past, she still wants him on the team, and that he'd never stop being an Avenger. And now we see these people running from these robots, and T'Challa comes swooping in real fast, destroying the robots. Now T'Challa is talking to the engineers that are there, and he says he needs the most senior engineer to come with him. And she says she's afraid. And he says he understands her fears because he is afflicted with fears himself. And he asks her, what would they say when you were asked to be an Avenger? And T'Challa tells her that he was once a king, and to be an Avenger is one of the finest callings that you can have. And now it's 5 days ago, and it's both of the Captain Americas here, Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers. And Captain Marvel is there, and she asks Sam if he wants to join her team. And she tells him that she already recruited Thor, Tony, and T'Challa. And he's pissed about T'Challa, because they already got some beef. And they fought each other during Captain America Symbol of Truth, issue 5. and they had it out for each other. Like, they was out there working. And Carol says that she has herself an alien hybrid, a god, a former king, and a super genius. And now she needs a Captain America. And she needs a normal person like Sam because he keeps a grounded perspective. And Carol asks him, can they count on his shield? And now we see him out in the battlefield. And the birds there are feeling something heavy changing within the electromagnetic field. Then Sam looks up and he sees Thor flying over his head. And Terminus is not backing down because he managed to put Thor in orbit. And now Sam goes to help T'Challa. And T'Challa calls him Falcon. And Sam is like, look bro, I know we still got beef, but you're an Avenger. And the name is Captain America. Now it's 4 days ago at the North Pole, and Carol goes to talk with Vision. And Vision brings up Judgment Day and how it affected everybody. And Carol says she remembers hers, and hers took place during Captain Marvel, issue 42. And Carol was judged by Marvel. So now Vision asks Carol to ask him about his judgment. And she asks, and he pauses, is silent. Then he says he didn't have one. And Carol says a lot of people didn't have a judgment or they didn't know it was happening. And Vision is curious if he's just looked at as a machine that is unfit for judgment. And Carol asks Vision a question, and she asks him, when have you ever cared what gods think? And she says that he met his creator, and he did in issue 57 of Avengers, and he defeated his creator, who was Ultron. And Carol doesn't want him to prove himself again, because he already has, and that's why she wants him on the team. And now we see Vision carrying Thor, returning to the battlefield. Then he tells everyone to clear the area. Then he shoots a beam at Terminus. Then Terminus talks about a convergence coming, and I just wonder what that is. And now Tony calls out to Black Panther, and he wondering what's going on. And T'Challa tells him that they have an artificial black hole reactor. Now when I saw this, I'm like, what do they need that for? That even just sounds unnecessary. And Terminus is going after the reactor to increase its power. Now T'Challa asks Carol if she wants good news or bad news first. And of course she says she wants the good news. And T'Challa says, I'm the Black Panther, I never have good news. And I did expect good news, so when I saw that, I'm like... And now T'Challa tells Carol that from Terminus's rampage, he damaged something that kept the black hole within containment. And now evacuation is needed for people that's there. And now they need someone who can do the impossible. And now we go back 3 days and Carol is talking to Wanda. And Wanda already knows what she's going to ask, so she says the answer is yes. Now Wanda says the Avengers are the one stable point in her life, and if they call, she will answer. And we see Wanda in the battlefield now, and she says with a spell, she can contain the black hole. But the magnetic fields at Project Pegasus are blocking her spells, and she needs to get it clear. And Carol is going to handle it. But she says she has good news and bad news first, and T'Challa asks for the bad news first. And the bad news is that Iron Man and Vision are busy with Terminus. And then lightning strikes. And now we got the good news. Thor is awake. Now Carol has the reactor, and she asks Wanda is she ready. And now she takes it up into the sky, and she needs the Avengers to keep Terminus away from her. Now Thor, Iron Man, and Vision are on their way. And T'Challa tells Carol that the reactor is unstable and that she needs to get far away from it immediately. And if she drops it, it's going to destroy a whole lot. And Carol asks Wanda is she ready with the spell, and Wanda tells her that she needs to get more altitude. And that's because she's not outside of Project Pegasus' electromagnetic footprint. Now we see Sam fly outside real fast while Terminus is being attacked by the rest of the Avengers. And now Carol's saying the same thing from the beginning, and that they call themselves the Avengers. As a warning, not to their enemies, but for themselves. Now Thor definitely knocked out Terminus, and T'Challa tells Carol to get away from the reactor because it's cracking, and Carol yells to Wanda to cast a spell. And Carol continues the dialogue that she has with herself. She says to avenge something is to lose it, and they can't afford to lose Earth, no matter what. And now Sam is flying towards Carol. Then the black hole reactor just explodes. And all they can do is just stand there and witness what's happening. Now Carol is in some type of different dimension, and she just wonders where she is. And another person is there, and they say it's about time, and that Carol has showed up to their deathbed. And they're in a pocket dimension, and it's revealed to be Kang. and he has an urgent warning for Carol. So that was Avengers issue 1 with a crazy cliffhanger. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. God bless. I'm out.